I am currently looking at a class inside of Apple Classroom. Over on the left-hand side, I can see which class I'm viewing, and you can currently see that I'm viewing all students in this class. At the top of the screen, you'll notice all the tools and management features that Apple Classroom offers. These tools can be used to help with classroom management, specifically tied to iPad usage in the classroom. Let's take a look at all the management tools that Apple Classroom offers and learn a little bit more about each. Since I'm viewing all students in my current class, all of the tools provided would apply to all students within this group. The first tool that we see at the top of the screen allows us to launch and lock apps for students. Once I select this button, I would see a list of apps that I'm able to launch on student devices, and I also have the ability to lock these apps in place, which means the students would not be able to exit out of the app until I allow them to do so. Within this feature, you are only allowed to launch one app on a student device at a time. The next tool that we come across is called Navigate. This allows me to launch websites on student devices through Safari. I would need to save these websites to my favorites on my device before I'm able to launch them on the student devices. Just like with our app launcher, this web launcher allows me to lock students into specific web pages, and they would only be able to exit once I allow them to do so. The next tool, represented by 4 circles, allows me to toggle back and forth between the view that you're currently seeing, where I can see the student's name and what app they are currently on below their name. If I selected this, I would change to Screen View, which allows me to see a live view of the student's screen and what they are doing. This is the most popular feature on Apple Classroom and one that I see teachers using a lot of. The next tool allows me to get students' attention by removing any app that's open on their screen. If I were to select this icon, I could close any app that's currently open and take students to their home screen. This is a great way to get students' attention or help them navigate to something different. This lock icon is exactly what the picture shows. This would allow me to lock student devices, and students would not be able to use the iPad until I unlock them. This feature allows me to mute and unmute student devices if necessary. If I tap this once, it would mute all devices. I could select it again to unmute them. The last icon that we're going to cover in the toolbar is the circle with the 3 dots in the middle. Inside of here, there are a few different tools that I could use. I primarily am going to be using this to end classes when I am ready to end the class and move on. Once I select End Class, I'm provided with a class summary, which is another great management tool for my classroom. The class summary page is going to show me a few helpful things. At the top, it's going to show me app usage. This would show me any apps that were used while I had Apple Classroom up and running. I could select on any of these icons and it would show me which students were using these apps. The bottom section is showing all of my students and how many apps they used while I had Apple Classroom up and running. If I were to select on one of these names, it would show me every app that they used and how long they were on that app. Please be aware that as soon as you hit Done, this class summary will disappear and we can't access it. So you might want to take a screenshot if there's something important on here that you're going to need for later. All of the tools and features that have been highlighted up to this point showed how we can implement these for the whole class. Apple Classroom also allows us to do this on an individual student basis and for selected groups. For individual students, all I would need to do is select on a name. I'll go ahead and select on the first student. Once I select on this student's name, I can see up at the top the student, and I can see all of the tools that are available to me for that student. One tool that is different for individual students is AirPlay. I have the ability to put my students' iPads up on my screen through AirPlay and show what this student is doing. Remember, all the tools and management features that I showed you can be done for all students in your class. individual students in your class. And you can also create groups of students where we can launch those restrictions and management features.